Hello, and welcome back. It's been a while. We are once again outside my favorite plane, and I kind of wanted to go over two things today. The first one being Sim Update 4 is out. It is a massive update. I haven't had much of a chance to look into it. This is the first time in a while that I've had time to actually go enjoy a flight. So of course I'm gonna fly in my favorite airplane. I love the C-160, uh, which I believe did get an update for Sim Update 4. We'll find out if anything's broken. But the second part is I also downloaded and installed BeyondATC. Not the premium version, but just the basic $25 version. Um, and I kind of wanted to see if I could figure out how that works. Because that seemed like a lot of fun. So for those of you that aren't aware or are new to flight, goodness, hang on, that screen is way too bright. Let's go ahead and crank that down a bit. Close the gear compartment. And why don't we actually just get rid of this screen entirely? There. Now we can look out the window. So for those of you not familiar with BeyondATC, it is basically a replacement, and it replaces the not just the air traffic controller in the game, but it also replaces the traffic injector, and it has a couple of additional features. Now again, I am just trying to figure this out at this point. Setting it up has been difficult, to put it nicely. It is a lot of work. It's more work than you think it is, let me put it that way. It's not just BeyondATC, but like I said, you have to install the traffic injector. You have to set up your sim brief
Beyond
and
ATC connected.
the sim brief downloader, because without it, it's going to be hard to get your flight plans in there properly. But once it's all set up, which it is now finally, it looks like it's not too bad. So I have a little route planned out from Rotterdam to Paris. That's a pretty short flight in this plane. Um, so the first thing we're going to do is go through the checklist real quick and get it started up. And a noise warning: as soon as I turn these on, the alarm is going to go off. If there's one thing I hate, it is that noise. Fuel valves are open. Let's go ahead and turn our lights on. 1, 2, and I don't need I need these, the console backlights. Turn all. There are 5 console backlight switches, and they are all in very hidden spaces. Turn these on while we're at it. Turn these on, and let's turn these on real quick. So BeyondATC, I think I have it figured out. I see it actually did load my call sign in. While I'm trying to figure this out, let me make sure it has the correct microphone selected. I'm using there are 3 types of controller and traffic voices. Controllers are, as the name suggests, air traffic controllers. Traffic is the rest of the traffic that is AI generated on your on whatever frequency you're on. When you buy just the basic option, you do get 50,000 premium character credits. But those run out, and you do have to re-up them. I think 250,000 characters cost $10, so it's not much. But to be honest with you, I kind of want to try it out with just the basic voices. So I have mine set to basic voices, which is the middle of the road option. Basic voice model uses 150 plus medium quality voices with accents from all over the world. If you use the lowest option, which is local, Local has 1,000+ medium quality voices, but they have limited accents. I'm like, I want to hear the local accents. I think that's fun. We're going to find out how good of a Dutch accent they do. Anyways, we're at Rotterdam Airport, so we're just going to connect right to the tower. And let's see if we can get startup clearance here. Rotterdam Tower, requesting startup, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. It's processing. It's working. It's thinking.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango uitvoeren, startup approved. Call when ready for taxi.
Okay, that is the best possible Dutch accent. I'm Dutch, I should know. That is the best Dutch accent, truly. Let's see how their auto respond works. I have it ticked off, but I'm just ticking it on for this.
Roger. Startup approved. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84.
That's honestly not so bad. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. So let's make it quick and get the engines going. Inlet open, start the APU, and flip on a generator 5. There we go. Parking brake I know is on. APU should be on enough. Alright, let's turn the bleed on. Fuel pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's start with the idle lever. Let's turn left on the first. Going into start mode. General engine start on. Left engine start. Open this one. Let's turn on our transponder. Let's set ourselves to 1000. Oop. That was one too many. Let's open the flight plan here. It sounds like the left engine has started. Let's close the window, it's getting cold in here. Alright, we did left start, idle lever, back up there. Condition lever. Technically right one should have been cut off. Oh well. Left is started. Start right side. We are almost through the checklist. You see now that BeyondATC has started up, it injected some local traffic, so you can now see parked planes that were not there before. That's what it does. It's early morning, so you're probably not going to hear and see a lot of traffic, which is fine, but we don't necessarily need it to be crazy loud or anything. Come on, turn yourself on. Go. General engine start off. Turn on the generators. And we can cut off the APU. No air means no APU. And generator 5 can be turned off. I think that practically puts us ready to taxi. Lights. Let's go ahead and turn on the GPS. Set to high. Turn on the flares, the most important part, honestly. And those open later. Actually, I should. Where are you? There it is. Turn on all of the heaters. Let's set these to low. This one is there it is. Windshield to low. This one. Okay. All right. I think we are. Almost. Did I forget anything on the checklist? Yes, I did. This lever goes back to normal. Turn on the weather radar. Okay, now I think we're really ready to go. Let's see if we can get taxi clearance to the runway. I am set for runway 24. Rotterdam Tower, requesting taxi to runway 24, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango uitvoeren, runway 2 voor de taxi via Foxtrot, Victor 6.
Honestly, it is the best Dutch accent. I love everything about it. Runway 24, taxi via Foxtrot, Victor 6, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. And we can exit, let's see, Foxtrot, Victor 6. Okay, let's just straight right. Just wheel ourselves forward here. Victor 6 is the absolute start of the runway, so we can just barrel down here. I will say the reason I picked BeyondATC, and this will come as a shock for people, is your other option beyond that is FatSim, and there you talk to real people, right? It's very serious. They take it very serious, and I think for newer players that can be kind of a daunting thing, right? Because now you're actually talking to real people who are, I don't want to say cosplaying because that's me, but you know, they're trying to make it as realistic as possible, and I think for newer players that can be a little uncomfortable. This is easier because you're just talking to the clanker, and if you get it wrong, the clanker yells at you, and that's okay. So I think that part is kind of fun. You're going way too fast there. And while I accept that the nomenclature and everything used by tools like BeyondATC, this is 5, right? This is 5. Might not be picture perfect or spot on. It is fun. It adds an extra dimension to your flying because you now have to do more than one thing at a time. Yeah. So I think that's fun, and I'm still trying to figure out how most of it works. I'm just going off of the prompts, because let's be real, most of it is reading back what they tell you. I feel like most of it is fairly easy to figure out. That was 4, this is 5. That means 6 is up here. That's right. I will say so far, in regards to Sim Update 4, the lighting looks better, as do the clouds, at least from the ground. Rotterdam Tower, requesting departure runway 24, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango uitvoeren, Rotterdam Tower, wind 210 at eind, runway 24, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 24, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Let's gun it down the runway here. Should have enough speed to take off. Take a right turn.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango uitvoeren, reset transponder. Stroke 1 000.
Pretty sure I said that one. Let's take a quick look at that. Reset transponder, squawk 1000, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Take a look here. Oh yeah, I did set it already. Look at
Delta Papa Sierra Tango uitvoeren. Contact Schiphol departure 11 decimal for 05.
God, did anyone copy down that frequency? Contact Schiphol departure 118 decimal 405, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Goodness, that took a lot of thinking. Okay, where is that? Schiphol departure, contact Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, flight level 060. I'm gonna have to think about that.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango uitvoeren, Schiphol departure, good morning, identified, climb to flight level 100.
Flight level 100, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I will say, for a free option,
Delta Papa Sierra Tango uitvoeren,
Ja.
contact Amsterdam, radar 119 decimal 175.
the accents are fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. Amsterdam radar 119 decimal 175, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Amsterdam radar, contact Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, flight level 100.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, Amsterdam radar, radar contact, climb to flight level 110.
Climb to flight level 110, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. It is 11,000 feet. I will say again, Sim Update 4, I haven't had much time with it at all. But I swear the lighting looks so much better. It used to look super smudgy, if that makes sense. It looks way more reasonable now. The same with the clouds, they look way less grainy. Overall, that's really not so bad. I forgot to set the pressurization goal because we're going to see if we can climb it a little further. Amsterdam radar, request altitude change, flight level 200, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. God, I had to think for a minute on that one.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, roger. Climb to flight level 200.
Oh, that's interesting. That guy did have a more American English accent. Flight level 200, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Okay, we're going to go ahead and set ourselves to climb. Pressurization should be set okay then. Make sure I have enough speed. There we go. That's a good climb rate. Let's set it to auto respond for a little bit. And, just look from the outside how the road changes around us as we climb. Audio come through, so I'll turn the auto response off. I will say again, I think we should be at about 15, almost 15,000 feet. The lighting, the clouds, it looks a lot better, and you kind of have to accept too. I am on a 4-year-old Alienware Aurora. I think it's an R12. And so it's never going to be like top tier performance. This is how the average player sees it. And at the same time, in the background, I have, the recording software and everything running that eats up some of the performance as well. Overall, that's a lot better. Now, if you're coming here, for example, from a PS5 and you just bought the game a couple days ago and you're like, oh my god, this isn't as great as I thought it would be. Compared to how it was when it originally came out for PC, and I'm not defending Microsoft in any way, because this is a massive improvement. Sim Update 3 added a lot of improvements. Based off of what I'm seeing here, this looks a lot better already. I feel like the lighting is way more natural. If you want to call it light pollution that you see in the background, well, you probably can't see my mouse because I don't think. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm not capturing the mouse, so you can't see my mouse. But the light pollution that you see in the background through the clouds, that looks a ton better than it used to. It really does. This weekend, I'm hoping to record some more and kind of dive into Sim Update 4 and really go through the changes. Now, I've looked through the list of changes already. There are so many individual changes that it's impossible to go over each and every single one of them. That would be a little bit silly. I don't think that's realistic anyways. but I'm going to cherry pick out the big ones. But one thing ahead of time that I will tell you I've noticed is the EFB, right? My default screen is just the flight planner itself. And I've noticed on the map view that now by default it will not just recenter on the aircraft, but put it on like the little follow, so you don't have to so you don't really have to mess too much with it. When loading the flight plan for this one, the EFB was way more responsive. It actually loaded the entire flight plan. I was checking at a quick glance at the flight plan as it was loaded in. Zoom in here, there we go. The flight plan as it's loaded in here. We are at that one. Okay. I'm holding it up against what's in the EFB. 26. Okay. And then it's Denox. Yeah. It looks like it hasn't dropped. An issue previously with this is it would sometimes drop off pieces of the flight plan, but the entire flight plan is in here as well, so I don't know if that is an issue with the, or was an issue with the plane, or with the EFB, but that is resolved as well. And again, the EFB itself is way more responsive right now, which is very nice. Overall, performance feels a lot smoother. And when you look down, I mean, we're flying over northwestern Europe, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, so you're going to have a lot of light coming up through the clouds. Now, in the distance where there's a little bit of an opening with a lot of lights, I think that's anywhere. You can see the cloud looks a little bit flat. Yeah. But overall, it looks so much nicer than it did. I haven't experienced any stuttering yet either, which I feel like I just jinxed myself into. Now it's definitely going to happen. Overall, it looks better, and that's nice.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Contact Brussels Control 125.0. Bye-bye.
God, we have to talk to the clanker again. What was the frequency? 125. Okay. Brussels Control on 125.0. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Brussels Control, contact Delta Papa Sierra Tango, flight level 190.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, Bruxelles contrôle, identifié, continue climb to flight level 200.
Flight level 200, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Holy smokes, that French accent is something else. Oh, sorry, Belgian French accent. Otherwise, the French people get mad at me for saying so. Goodness gracious, now look at that terrain. I know I sound repetitive, but it is so much nicer. The color variation and the lighting, too. It looks so much better than it did before. And again, I haven't changed anything as part of my settings, so it's set the exact same as it was before. I'm noticing a difference. It's cool. I like that. We're almost at the right altitude. Let's see if I can look through the... while we're flying anyways, it'll be a little bit before we start. I say that, but let me actually look on the map where my descent starts. That's where my descent starts. So let me set that direct to... This is 118. nautical miles. So yeah, we have a little bit of time to look through the release notes here. God, there's so much. Now, I will say, they added the...
Postement hit Papa Alpha Heavy. Bruxelles contrôle. Expect Xaman 1 Alpha. Runway 22.
That's not me.
Expect Xaman 1 Alpha, runway 22, Postman 8, Papa Alpha Heavy.
Let me turn the radio volume down a tiny bit. 16, there we go. They did add a Stranger Things missions in the free helicopter. The helicopter is a Yui, and I have been waiting on a Yui, so I'll try to make a video on that as well. I did try to fly the first mission, do like the training mission that they have for it, and and it bugged out. So I'm not gonna say I rage quit, but I closed it and I went back to free flight. So that's on me. But I will retry that at some point, because that did look like a good time. There we go. Now I have the flight plan up. We are at our altitude. Turn it down so we stop burning so much fuel. So that's one thing they added, and it is fun. I know there's people that are critical of this idea of like, oh, add the Stranger Things thing in because it's the popular thing to do. It's an activity. You can play it if you want, or if you don't want to. That's a personal choice, but I think that's fun to add.
Center on 119.175, Postman 8, Papa Alpha Heavy, bye-bye.
Crash fixes. Oh my god, the first stability and performance part is just like 20 crash fixes. Optimization of CPU, optimization of CPU code, optimize scenery objects, fixed a crash. When I tell you that there are literally 500 fixed crashes here, I'm not going to complain, because my game hasn't crashed, so, you know. I'm just browsing through the list to see if there's anything interesting in there. But it's the performance header, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of bug fixes. Then there's general bug fixes. Fixed AI aircraft contrails not showing if the user altitude is too low. I trust that. Another big thing that they supposedly added is career mode's been updated to include, let's see if I can find it in the list. Career mode, there's the header for career mode. Okay. Specialization icon and mission filters, honestly, that's pretty cool. Fixed an issue where minimal indicated marketplace aircraft prices would be incorrect when browsing for new aircraft in my companies. Okay. Improved automatic pushback to ensure the aircraft is being pushed into the direction of the intended taxi path and closer to the center line. That is nice. Since they added that to career mode, I presume they also did that in free flight. We did not use pushback on account of we just rolled straight out onto the taxiway. I'll have to try that out sometime. Added a reward compensate. Ooh, this is nice. Added a reward compensation when the game crashes during a mission. That is the most frustrating thing. That's nice. Also, a side tip then. In that case, if you are going to crash or if the game bugs out for any reason but doesn't crash, just hit Alt F4. I bet you'll still get the reward. It's better than nothing. It's definitely better than taking the repair bill. Let me see. I'm looking to see if they added heavy cargo. Well, it says fixed ATC does not function on cargo transport heavy mission. So that means cargo transport heavy missions also have to be available, right? Right? Aircraft spawns with screens off during heavy test certification mission. Fixed, unable to start up the Airbus Beluga XL and cargo transport super heavy. Okay, so that means heavy transport should now be open. We're gonna take a look at that. Not right now because we're in the middle of a flight, but I'm gonna have to go through a bunch of this over the weekend and check it out. Because honestly, that would be very nice. When I played career mode, and I haven't played career mode in a while, but when I played career mode, I mostly flew cargo because I enjoy, I mean, for crying out loud, what kind of plane are we in right now, right? I enjoy cargo. And is that Brussels? Yeah, it is. It is. I'm telling you, the views are way better. So anyways, I like to fly cargo. It's what I enjoy. So if they finally opened up heavy and super heavy, that would be real nice. I'm fairly sure the C-160 classifies for heavy cargo. So that makes my life a little better.
Contact Paris Control 126.475.
I'm going to go ahead and set the volume a little louder again for the BeyondATC, so that we can actually hear what they're saying. Now, looking through the UI of BeyondATC, I set the traffic to on. I set the parked departures, arrivals, and en route density all to level 10. I presumed it would be a little busier, but I think that has a lot to do with the time of day. It is early. It is 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. So I'm going to presume that it will probably pick up. We're flying to Bourget. Some Frenchman is going to be upset at that pronunciation. Right? I didn't set it to... Yeah, we are flying there. So we'll see if traffic picks up as we get closer. We should be about 75 nautical miles out from our descent, and then we're going to see if we can call ready for descent, and if it actually gets us correctly to where we need to be. I'm fully prepared that it will change my flight plan, which is going to give me an insane amount of panic, but we'll find out. I did notice that there's an option to enable cockpit radio controls where your cockpit volume button on your radio stack will control the volume of the air traffic control, well, of the radio, basically. I think that's cool. If you're into immersiveness, I totally get that. It doesn't have a lot of options to set. That's not a criticism. That's just very nice. I am surprised, though, that despite all of the densities being set to 10 it is relatively quiet, but I will probably write that off due to the time of day. Because if it's supposed to be realistic, and it is supposed to be realistic because I set the traffic season to live season. Which means that, let me read the tooltip. The traffic season, it says, switch the traffic data season between summer, which is the July 2025 dataset, and winter, which is the February 2024 dataset. In live mode, the season will automatically transition around the dates when daylight saving time changes occur between these two datasets. Daylight savings was 4 weeks ago, so it will be in the winter season. So I guess it makes sense that there would be less traffic. I think that's fair. Keep the main panel open. I will say it is funny that when I zoom, you see how it zooms in and out. I don't know why it's doing that. Because I have the EFB selected, I'm zooming around the EFB map. It really should not be zooming around the cockpit. It's funny that it's, despite being in a completely separate window, that it is in fact like, you know what, we're just going to zoom your cockpit as well while we're at it. I think we are, because that is 60. Oh god, I just looked at the flight plan. So it has a weird hook in it, which means it's probably going to change my flight plan, and that's going to give me mild anxiety. That's fine.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, contact Paris Control 126.475, have a good morning.
Okay, who speaks French? Because holy smokes, that was a heavy accent. Brussels goodness gracious.
Négative, Paris Control 126.475.
There we go, now I could actually hear the frequency. Paris Control 126.475, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I almost started with the wrong tower, but that's okay. Paris Control, contact Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, flight level 200.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, Paris Control, identifié.
So I will say, when it comes to the flight plan, so when you want to use BeyondATC, you do have to have a flight plan. And the simple reason is, how else would it know where to spawn traffic? And, you know, you get it, right? How else would it know where you
Paris Control, Clever 95 Whiskey, flight level 138.
But it uses, if you use the free version, it uses some
95 Whiskey,
outdated
Paris
data.
Control, identifié, continue climb to flight level 320.
And it does mean it's
Continue climb to flight level
kind of
320,
subject to
Clever 95
change.
Whiskey.
Because the flight plan that I have is kind of laid out weird. And I picked one from the so when you're in SimBrief, it basically offers you existing flight paths. Let me go ahead and edit my flight. I have my SimBrief open on the second monitor. So when you're in SimBrief, if you haven't used it before and you're like, oh, I want to create a flight, the only things you really need to do is set your departure and your arrival airport, and it can generate you a flight path. You can set a ton more settings, but let's just start at the basics. You can create a flight path. You can set a departure runway and an arrival runway. And then what it does is, towards the bottom of the route, you can either enter your own if you really want to, or you can pick any of the suggested routes. That's what I did. I just picked one of the suggested routes, and it'll tell you based off of the routes you pick. You can even do a few all routes, but it'll tell you whether it's valid or not. So I just picked one that looked like it would have a reasonable approach, but now that I'm looking at it while I'm in the air, it looks somewhat like an unreasonable approach. But you know what? We're going to let the air traffic controller figure our approach out for us, and we'll just update our EFB as we get closer. Speaking of closer, so this is kind of annoying that if you pull your EFB onto or out of the sim, that scrolling in and out while having that selected will also zoom your screen in and out. That is a little on the janky side, but we are 49. I'm trying to do math, and that's the hardest. And that's 80, so there's about 40 there. I'm trying to measure distance as best as I can, which this is not going to come as a surprise to anyone. It's hard for me. Okay. Don't think we have to quite call ready for descent yet.
Wizz Air 77, Paris Control, expect ML 1 Bravo, runway 15.
Oh god, that French
Expect
accent.
ML 1 Bravo, runway 15, Wizz Air 77.
I will tell you, this will help
Delta
you.
Papa Sierra Tango 84, Paris Control, expect radar vector, ILS runway 07.
Oh shit, that one was for me. Expect radar vectors, ILS 07, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I think I got it. I got it. ILS 07, let me double check my EFB now, because now ILS 07, okay. Send to avionics. Okay. I think it's got it. I'm sorry about the zooming. I'm just trying to zoom around my EFB, and the fact that it also zooms the cockpit is ridiculously annoying. I know I'm repetitive, but honestly, the lighting, it does look so much better right now. And that sparks joy. Honestly, it really does.
Wizz Air 77, descent to flight level 220. Descent to flight level 220, Wizz Air 77.
We can also turn this one on. Oh, right. I opened the window, so then it goes over there. Bloop. Is that as low as that goes? And do we have enough fuel? Oh, we have. Supposed to do that when we got to our cruise altitude. I did forget to turn propeller sync on.
Paris Control, Speedbird 12 Heavy, flight level 399. Speedbird 12 Heavy, Paris Control, radar contact.
Okay, we'll have some time before we have to call for descent. That's fine. And if not, there's always one thing we're good at, which is crashing. Honestly, though, I will say, so BeyondATC, so far this is kind of fun. It is a learning curve, very obviously. But the number one thing I appreciate is, A, the different accents. So you actually hear, you know, local voices. Which is something Flight
Delta
Simulator
Papa
was
Sierra Tango
missing.
84, radar vector, ILS runway 07. Report ready for descent.
That was definitely for me. Expect radar factors, ILS runway 07. Report ready for descent. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Is he gonna yell at me? God, I don't want an angry Frenchman yelling at me.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, le Bourget landing runway 07.
Is that not what I just confirmed to you, good sir? Landing runway 07, QNH 1024. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, descend to flight level 150.
Descent to flight level. Descent to flight level 150. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Okay. I'm glad he's telling me when to descend because this thing takes forever to descend nicely.
Clevé 95 Whiskey, contact Paris Control 118.05, have a good morning. Center on 118.05, Clever 95 Whiskey.
I do really like the different accents and that there is more chatter over the radio with BeyondATC versus just the default AI. Like I said, this is very much a learning curve, which I find kind of fun. And it's not as immediately like being thrown to the wolves like on Fancy where you'd have to talk to people. And I feel like for $30 so far, this is a pretty decent add-on to have over the normal ATC. Comparatively, I mean, this is a short-term experience, but comparatively, I feel like this is a lot nicer than the default. Now, keep in mind, this is also just like Microsoft AI generated, so you're gonna probably hear a reasonable amount of repetition, whether it's between voices or instructions. Absolutely, I will expect it to have some level of repetition. I don't really see that in and of itself as a problem, especially not if it offers that much more variation. Yeah, over the weekend I'm going to sit down and take a look through all of the patch notes for Sim Update 4 and see what else changed. Like, you can go off of the visuals of, you know, seeing is believing, and again, for repetition's sake, it looks nicer. It really does. But it will probably be helpful to look through all of it and kind of figure out what's what. Let's see if these still work. Holy smokes, those are so much brighter. Oh my god. They were like lights before, now they're just like giant
Wizard
fireballs.
77, contact London Control 118.475.
I love everything about that. Let's just go
Contact
ahead.
London Control 118.475, Wizard 77.
Oh goodness gracious. Honestly, I love everything about that. Also, the smoke trails look better. But you know what? I'm giving kudos to that for Azure Poly since they made the play. We should be at about 15 now. We are at 15. We can take a move the speed out of it.
Speedbird 1-2 Heavy, Paris Control, expect Logan 2 Hotel, runway 0 9 left. Expect Logan 2 Hotel, runway 0 9 left, Speedbird 1-2 Heavy.
That's also a very British
Delta
accent.
Papa Sierra Tango 84, contact Paris Control 118.05.
I'm gonna bully them. Paris Control 118.05 Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Let's see if the Frenchman accepts that. He does. Paris Control, contact Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, flight level 150.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84 send approach. QNH 1024 expect radar vector 4 ELS runway 07.
Holy smokes. San approach, landing runway 07, QNH 1024. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. That guy's definitely gonna yell at me. He's gonna be like, wrong! Which reminds me, let's double check the EFB. Okay. I think we're on the right track. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so when you... The zooming thing is driving me up the wall. When you, open your... the site panel that shows you your route as you loaded it into the EFB, and then you close it again, it will zoom out onto the route rather than stay focused on the route.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, descend to flight level 130.
Descend to flight level 130, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Okay. I love that I picked an early morning flight, because if there's one thing I'm bad at, it's night flights. Hopefully it'll get light soon, but either way, we'll make it. Let's go ahead and keep our speed up a little bit. I will say the radio has been relatively quiet, so I'll be interested to see how much traffic it also spawns in once we get to Le Bourget. I will also have to test it at some point at like a super busy airport. Go to like Charles de Gaulle in the middle of the day and see how busy it is. Because if it is using like the traffic patterns, the real life traffic patterns, I can understand if this is the winter traffic pattern that, you know, at 5 a.m. in the morning, that's going to be quiet out.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Descend to flight level 100.
100. Flight level 100, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Honestly, I love the French accents. That's the San approach. So I'm going to set a direct 2 for that one. That's around 250. There we go. Let's make it 240. So that we have enough overlap there, enough room to turn for the runway. This'll work.
Pour l'aircraft, be advised information Alpha now current, puis NH1024.
I don't think I have to respond to that.
Sierra Tango 84. Turn right, heading 245, vector for the approach.
Turn right, heading 245, vectors for approach, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I think I got it right.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn right, heading 245, descend to flight level
060. Turn right heading 245, descent to flight level 060, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. It really is like standing at a French baker while they try to count your money out. These random French numbers.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn left, heading 175.
Turn left heading 175, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn and I will turn, good sir. Let's head down to 6,000 feet. Double check the checklist. I feel like
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn right, exit 255.
turn right heading 255, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I was going to say he's going to do a tour of Paris at this rate. I'm not objecting to it. At least get like a tour guide on board. I see. We're gonna hold this route and then turn around, and then we'll be at the runway. Okay. City, so we'll see that we'll start to struggle with the environment. But we're at a lower altitude as well, so I think it'll be fine. Oh, we are dropping way too much speed. I will say one thing somebody suggested was to use, what's it called, Rex Atmos Core. It's a weather generator that's supposed to make it a lot better. I might end up getting that at some point. But as it stands, I will say, they feel so much better at improving the sim already. It just looks so much nicer. Yeah. Don't do anything or anything. When they said sand approach, they mean just follow the entire river. Yeah, I mean, granted, they're not perfect clouds. They're pretty good. I'll have to do more flying to really form an opinion, honestly. Because this is just first impressions, really. I was just more interested in playing around with BeyondATC, which so far I find this a lot of fun. And again, I get it, it's not super realistic. It doesn't have to be. It's just adding another dimension to the game to have a good time with. I will say I was just skimming through the options, but you can't delete this bar. Just somewhat disappointing. I feel like this is the bane of a lot of people's existence. This bar existing here, and then the bar that shows outside when you get out of the plane.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn left. Heading 190.
That's us. Turn left heading 190. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I think I'm supposed to say 9 instead of 9. But the angry Frenchman is not going to yell at me for it, so I'm grateful for that. Oh, it is me. It's all the way around Paris. Well, I'd show you the sights of Paris, but, you know, clouds.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn right. Heading 255.
Is it just going to keep filtering me a little bit to the south and then back to the west? Yes, it is. Turn right, heading 255, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. If it's doing that, I might as well just hold at 250 instead of 255. Because that just does not make any sense. I was treating it like it's Tetris. See it if it wasn't for the clouds. Speed. I'm not gonna lie. That is the most fun you can have. All right, we are solidly in the clouds now. Oh, we're going over speed a little bit. For the ride. It is so insanely bright too. Meanwhile, some poor Parisian is just watching the world explode around them as flares just go off everywhere. While I did that, a bunch of traffic showed up on my EFB. It spawned in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 airplanes on generally the same direction as I'm traveling. I didn't notice those spawning in. Close enough that I should be able to see some of them out of my window. If it wasn't for the enormous deck of clouds. Okay, so we're past the airport now.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Descend to 5,000 feet. QNH 1024.
Descend to 5,000 feet. QNH 1024. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. It's another 1,000 feet gone. Meanwhile, that Frenchman's laughing. He's like, that just puts you further into the clouds, jackass. Which it actually kind of did. I will say I turned off the weather radar off of my EFB. I'm not sure how familiar most people are with the different layers that you can add to your map on your EFB. The weather radar overlay is one of them. I used to have it turned on, but lately I have it turned off. I feel like it makes the map itself a little bit more legible.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn right, heading 310.
That one's for us. Turn right, heading 310. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Oh, that gets us.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Turn right, heading 310. Descend to 4,000 feet.
Turn right, heading 310. Descend to 4,000 feet. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Quite honestly, I'm amazed that they haven't yelled at me yet. They probably later.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Descend to 3,000 feet.
Descent to 3,000 feet. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I'm so glad that I can't even see. I mean, I can see the ground, but that's not.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Formation from PB 410. turn right, heading 055, maintain 32 feet until established. Cleared ELS runway 07.
Oh, that's a mouthful. Turn right heading 055, maintain 3,000 feet. Cleared approach, ILS runway 07, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I think I got it right. I love that it gives you the, those heading 055. I love that it kind of gives you the audible feedback that you indeed did your readback correct. I'm trying to zoom in on my, and then of course it zooms in my cockpit. Established final approach. I think I have to tell the Frenchman that. Start by turning 95 degrees. I might as well do the full turn at this point. Bourget approach, established final approach, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, close enough.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, affirmative.
Drop.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, contact Bourget Tower 11 and decimal minute to 5, have a good morning.
Contact Le Bourget Tower 118.925 Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Let's go ahead. I can't see shit. I think that's the appropriate nomenclature. Le Bourget Tower, contact Delta Papa Sierra Tango, flight level 020.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84, de Bourget Tower, wind 0 Nini 0 at 4, runway 07 cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 07, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Dropping too much speed there. And I can't see nothing. I could say I'm night blind, but the clouds don't make a difference for that, do they? I know you're thinking there's supposed to be like a center line-ish, because you can see the runway in the distance. it is what it is. We're still probably gonna make it. Let's go there. Down. I really need to bind the key for my landing gear, because doing that at the same time while holding the stick is a little janky. We're too far to the left. I think I'm still good. Not gonna say it's gonna be a good landing, but all I'm gonna say about it is that we're gonna end up on the runway one way or another. And you know what? I'm calling that an achievement. Forgot to check how long the runway is. Just kidding, we'll be fine. Even if we're swaying around like a drunk sailor. Something.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Exit right at Bravo 1.
Shortest landing. Let's go ahead and turn those taxi lights on. Lights off. Lights on. I know I'm parked on the runway. There's nobody else around.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Exit right at Bravo 1.
Exit right at Bravo 1, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Which one is Bravo 1? It's the first one. Is pointing us in the right direction. Dude, that was a short landing. Was it painful? Yes. Did I break the landing gear? No. I'm calling that a success. There you go. I need to turn the blue indicators off, since it's not telling me appropriately where I'm supposed to go anyways.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Contact ground 121 decimal Nini. Have a good morning.
Contact ground 121.9, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. We're not going to pop flares on the ground, sorry. Bourget ground, request taxi to gate, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Any gate.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Welcome to le Bourget. C'est parking aura défini d'assinement.
Need assignment, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. I presume they could just tell me.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Say again ramp number.
Okay. Any ramp. Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84.
Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. Ramp 1 taxi via Bravo 1. Bravo. Whiskey Trip Victor 4 Victor. Victor Trip Victor 2 Golf 2 Golf. Golf 1.
Oh. Okay. Ramp 1, taxi via Bravo 1, Bravo, Whiskey 3, Victor 4, Victor, Victor 3, Victor 2, Golf 2, Golf, Golf 1, Delta Papa Sierra Tango 84. If he's gonna yell at me for repeating that, I'm gonna let it click. Oh, he didn't yell at me. Okay. Yeah, I'm calling that a dub. Let's go ahead and wheel ourselves to the right. It's raining. Behind the runway, that's fine. Oh, God, lady. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's across the runway, but nobody told me to hold short or request, you know, being able to cross a runway. So I'm not taking responsibility for that. So,
All aircraft be advised d'information Bravo now current, QNH 1024.
Isn't ramp 1 that way? Yeah, it is. Dude, almost the wrong way. Look at that. I corrected myself. We're going the right way. Don't worry about it. So what is super useful is BeyondATC has a little map built in of the local airport that you're at, and it will show you not just all the designations of the taxiway, so you see which one is, you know, Alpha Bravo, Victor, Golf, whatever. But it will also show you the path and everything. That is actually a super useful feature. Because if you're on an unfamiliar airport, it helps you find your way. I like that. I like that it keeps telling me to slow down. I'm just gonna wheel in a straight line anyway. So we're just gonna go real fast, it's fine. Oh god, we're going awful fast. I mean, I am seeing it spawned in aircraft. What I did not see is any other aircraft landing. But since I'm connected to ground, I also am not hearing anyone else taking off or taxiing around. I'm willing to say that might have to do with the early hour, but I am going to have to test it on a busy airport and figure that part out. Because that's another thing the little mini-map shows is it shows you the aircraft that it spawned in. So I see that it spawned an aircraft at different ramps. And I presume it does that based off of the traffic that it knows from the model that it's using. What's that on here? Sorry, I was just looking at the little map to make sure I'm going onto the correct ramp. Close enough. Ooh, rockets! Look at that. That's cool. Rockets. Alright, let's go ahead and turn off the bright lights and shut down the engine. Honestly, for a first flight and getting used to BeyondATC, I really enjoy this. It adds another dimension to flying. It's a lot of fun. It's fairly easy to learn. I'd say if you want a little bit more than the default ATC, this is a pretty dang good option. So I'm going to continue playing around with that. This weekend I'm hoping to get around to reviewing all of the changes from Sim Update 4 as well, and dive into those. Now, the B17G, I know I did Update 3, which was a week late. Based on their own schedule, there should be another update for that tomorrow, which is Friday the 12th. I'm not sure if I should be expecting one, but if there is one, I will make sure to make time to review it again, kind of see how it changed, how it was updated. Hopefully they've made some positive improvements. That's one of the things where I will say I am not super confident that there will be a December release. At the rate it's going now, it does not have a finished interior. But again, that depends on whether or not they release an update this Friday. If they don't, then there's also no review, obviously. But that's about it. In conclusion, if you like the air traffic control portion, then BeyondATC is a lot of fun. Might be for you. I'm going to keep using it on my future flights, kind of get used to it, and if I ever change my mind, you'll hear about it. But so far, I actually think this is a lot of fun. Alright, well that was it for today. Y'all have a good one.